Hello and welcome to Athena's Creations. I'm Athena Turk, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator since 2017. Welcome to my Athena's Creations Live on Facebook, our private group for my customers, and later live on, or later uploaded on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me, whether it's live or on the replay later. I've got a treat for you. My Stampin' Up! Pre-order for demonstrators that I ordered last week came in early, so I've had a few days to play with the new stuff, and I'm very excited to share some 3 cards from this fun suite, and it is a sweet set of products that will be available in the September mini catalog. It's available now if you want to sign up and join my team as a demonstrator, or if you're already a demonstrator, you can pre-order from not only this new catalog, but also the online exclusives that will be available starting in September. We've got 2 brand new Fun Folds to me, new to me Fun Folds, pop out fun surprise card, and then one that I cased from the online sample. So there's a lot in this catalog that is full of great things, as well as the online exclusives. And when I first saw the preview of it a couple of weeks ago, I was quite overwhelmed with just the quantity of offerings for anybody and everybody. So whether it's Halloween that you're interested in, or Thanksgiving, or fall, or thank you cards, or gifts, or Christmas, my favorite. This is going to be the catalog this year. There's some really hot stuff in here, and I'm going to share that all with you tonight, along with the directions and measurements. And I'm going to show you a couple of little things that I was inspired when I started playing using some heat embossing. So to explain real quickly the heat embossing, because once I get into it, I tend to get quiet until I notice that the embossing is happening. So what I do is I use the embossing buddy first, and I clean off, in other words, dry off the paper before I stamp on it. Then I get our Versamark, which is Stampin' Up's clear embossing liquid stamp pad, right? So it's clear, so you can't really see it. So you just want to make sure you have plenty of ink on there, and then you stamp it firmly, let it soak in for a couple of seconds, and then you draw away without touching it, because we have oils on our fingers. When we speak, there's, you know, mist in the air. And so the embossing buddy is going to make sure there's no places for the powder to adhere to. So once you have that embossed Versamark clear on your project with the stamp, we're going to put the embossing powder over it and then shake it, and I'll show you some tricks. And then when you're ready, we've got a handy toolkit that you can get. I use these fun little tweezers that you press, and it will hold on to the paper so that I can make sure that the heat emboss is heating, the heat tool will heat it. And basically it'll go from a dry to a raised, really pretty, shiny, whatever color it is, gold, white, silver, whatever. But I'm going to use gold tonight, so it's going to be a real pretty gold. So it'll look dull, and then as the heat tool heats it, it will change and glisten. And once that happens, I move the heat tool over the rest of the image. And so that's the basics of heat embossing, but it looks fantastic on all of my Christmas cards whenever I use it. I'm going to try to use it more this year. But based on the samples in the catalog, although I can't show you, I can demonstrate for you what's in the catalogs and show you the product that I've purchased to play with. And part of that is the inspiration from what I've seen inside, is the inspiration that has me doing a gold embossing with this new suite. Now, I only picked out a couple of suites and a couple of sets from the online exclusives, because I don't know about you, but I only have a limited amount of craft time, like at night and on the weekends. And so I want to play with all the goodies when I get them. So having got them early, I've been playing with them, and I'm going to share those with you tonight. So let's go ahead and turn the camera down. I think I've finally figured out there's only one button here that I need to mess with, so that hopefully it will cause less stress for you when you're trying to take a look at what I'm demonstrating. So let me just do that real quickly here, because typically it tends to slant, but I think I've finally got it figured out. I don't know, it took me a hot minute, didn't it? All right, so I've got the heat embossing and everything ready to go, because like I said, I want to do that. I want to share that with you. And I think I showed a demonstration once before about the heat embossing, but like I said, we're going to use the toolkit stuff that comes with it, the embossing buddy and the tray, and then the little tool, and there's actually a little brush, so that if you need to use the brush, and maybe we will tonight, and I'll show it to you. This is a set that you can get. The embossing powders and the Versamark ink, the clear ink, are separate. But I'm also going to use a piece of paper, because I know that not everybody has an embossing kit per se, even though we have some for sale. So I just wanted to show you some tips in that regard, because, you know, it's kind of fun to think outside the box and, you know, use what you do have and things like that. So we've got 3 fun cards. I'm going to do the heat embossing first, because it's pretty wow. And just to kind of give you an idea of what I've been playing with here too. Then I'm going to make this card for you. I need to slow down and take a breath. Oh my goodness, I'm just so excited. Okay, so this was a card that was a sample online. And so I've, oops, I just lost a little berry. But this one uses the glimmer paper from one of my favorite suites that I got to purchase a couple months ago, the Peace on Earth. But this was an online sample, and it's really, really fun. I've pre-cut everything, and we'll do some stamping, and this little suite is amazing. And I do want to show you also the papers that come with it, because the designer paper is amazing. This is a new to me fold. It's kind of a fancy one. And then this one's a pop-out fun fold too, using 6x6 paper. And it's beautiful. It's all new suite of products. And part of that suite is called Traditional Labels and Christmas Greenery. And so with this one, you will stamp this image. In fact, I don't know if I kept the paper. I sometimes just start stamping and not realize, oh, okay, this is a 2-step stamping. I stamped this and I thought, why do I have like little, I don't know what you would call those. And then I realized it's to stamp over this image. And so I've done that. And this is to stamp right here. And then this image will stamp, let's see, I think it's this one, and that one. And then these 3. Then we have our little poinsettia there, the little ones. And then this big poinsettia is here. And then we've got this one that will hit all of the leaves and stuff. And then there's all these extra accents. And this was just words, which you can mix and match, which is what I've done tonight with a couple of my cards. And of course, love, love the new shiny embellishments. This is the traditional sparkling sequins. You get 240 of these, and I guarantee you this one, it's flat and it's super shiny. I think this is probably one of my favorite embellishments that I've seen so far, but there's a ton of great stuff that's offered in the new catalog, the new online exclusives, and I've just been having a wonderful time playing. So let's get some scrap paper here. I should have had this out already, but here we go. I want to make sure, there we go, this will work perfectly. Okay, yep, plenty of room. So what I want to do, and I'm going to show you, like I said, if you don't have the tray, which you can always do, is use a piece of just scratch paper, you know, junk mail, if you will. And I'm going to use the embossing buddy, and then I'm going to be quiet for a couple of minutes while I do the embossing. So first step is to clear the paper with any oils from your fingers. Maybe your fingers were wet, you just washed your hands or something, you didn't completely dry them. The embossing buddy is going to make sure that the surface where you stamp is clear and not wet. That way when you use the Versamark on the stamp, only that image is going to be on your paper. Now, if for some reason there's a speck or two, we'll use this, okay? And then we're going to use the gold, and then we're going to heat emboss it, okay? So let's go ahead and make sure we've got just tiny spot right here. We just want to go through, make sure that that's dry, and then I'm going to use my Versamark. Since this is a big stamp, and I've moved my head away a little bit because I don't want to accidentally have any mist on there, we're going to directly stamp the Versamark clear ink onto the stamp because it's big. If it were a smaller stamp, then I would just put the stamp to the ink pad. But this way I can make sure there is plenty of Versamark clear ink on my stamp. And like I said, it's hard to see because it's clear. And so I probably am going over it way more than necessary. But when you're heat embossing, you want to make sure you've got enough ink. Okay? And in case there was a miss, let's just do that one more time. And then like I said, you're just going to push down to let that Versamark set in on that paper. Okay. And you can hear that sticky noise, so you pretty much rest assured it's gonna stick. I'm gonna use my little tool to hold it in place. Open up my gold embossing powder. Oh, I need to show you the paper too once we emboss it. It gave me the idea to do this. It looks like I'm putting the entire bottle on there, but I'm not. I just want to make sure there's plenty on the entire image, so I'm just going to do it one more time. And then you can turn it over and tap any excess. And we're going to need to use this handy little tool because we got a little line right here. And this is going to take off that excess, because what will happen is if we don't do that, then that will be heat embossed. Now this does have a die cut, so it wouldn't necessarily matter, but I did want to show you what that's all about. So I'm gonna set that to the side for just a second, and let me show you why I used this piece of paper. And our tool tray works better than this, but if you don't have it, this is a great way to hopefully not waste too much, and there'll be a little residual there, and that's okay. And that way you've, you know, hopefully cleaned up your mess a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start the heat tool, and remember, as I heat it, once it glistens and raises up, then I can move on to the next image. We'll put it on high. You see it glisten? Such a pretty embossing. Gold. You just keep moving it until you see it glisten. Isn't that gorgeous? And it's so simple and easy, just like that. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just beautiful. So it's like a little raised up, and it's just the most elegant look. Now, let's move all this out of the way, and let me show you what inspired me to do that, to play with it like that. It's going to be the beautiful embossing papers. I say embossing papers. Actually, it's the beautiful designer series paper, specialty paper, that's got all of this gold in it. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, I'm sure if you wanted to take the time, you could probably fussy cut that, but that's just gorgeous, right? And we're going to use a little bit of that paper. Pardon me. The one thing, too, about the heat embossing, that powder just kind of, I don't know, it makes me cough. I don't know. And this one, although it doesn't have a die cut, again, all that beautiful gold, that's what kind of gave me the idea a little bit. But this paper is just astounding. It's so pretty. And both sides look amazing, right? This is what gave me the idea to emboss, right? To heat emboss, because it's gold. This is that gorgeous specialty paper. I think there's 2 papers here. Let me get those out. I actually cut them down and die cut them. This one, because it's got the die cut. And this one, and let me show you what it looks like when you die cut them out. Just gorgeous, right? And then I had some pieces that were half, and I went ahead and I just went ahead and die cut them out, because look what can happen. Okay, let me just show you something. Sometimes, you know, we dismiss sometimes the edge of the paper, or, you know, some things down here because it doesn't have the bottom, but it's got the top. Up here it's got the bottom and not the top, vice versa, right? Well, if you save these, you can literally, like these 2, you could line up where the leaves are, and now you have a complete image. Even though you have a half a bottom and a half a top, you can come back through and voila. And I love that we have the die cuts for the paper. It even showed it in the catalog. But that's one of the things I do when I get a suite of product. I just love to play and just kind of see what I can come up with. And then the same thing for this one, this die cut as well. It's gorgeous. We've got several of those. I think I counted 12. It's just so pretty. We've got some pink poinsettias, and then we've got the red poinsettia. I think that's how you pronounce it, poinsettia. I've heard it pronounced a couple of different ways, so it's just so pretty, right? And both sides are great. All right, let's go ahead and let me show you what I did. So I heat embossed this one before. That was one of my first embossing. And then when I get my blends, I don't always know what color I want to use. And so I got a bunch of different colors out, and I actually used the real red, then I used the old olive, and then for these 3 flowers, I used Strawberry Slush, our new in color. But isn't that just beautiful? I mean, you can do all kinds of things when you heat emboss, and your projects look just beautiful when you do that. I think I want to do this one last because it's such a fun pop-out fold. Let's do this one, and then we'll do that pop-out fold last. This one I just discovered this week, and I just had to play with, you know, what I discovered. And so this is kind of my own idea based on the fold, and the fold is brand new to me. I actually had to get out, and I made notes, and I don't know what I did with them, but I actually had to get out my 12 by 12 paper, the Regals, and this is Cherry Cobbler, because this is the fold. And I wanted to have something that would cover the front, although I've seen samples out there that you can just, you know, cover each side, and maybe and I even contemplated having it wrapped with that gorgeous ribbon. I wanted to use this beautiful flower, and we're going to stamp the little poinsettia there. And then this one just basically fussy cut. Heartfelt prayers. A lot of friends in the hospital. I think this might be one of those cards I send in the mail this next week. And so this was the leftover pieces from the designer paper that just fussy cut and put on there. This one I just die cut right out. Let me give you the measurements. And it's really, really easy measurements. So if you're taking notes, we're going to have 2 of these white pieces of paper. And it's basically, it's almost the 4-inch mark back to, so basically 3 7/8 by 3 7/8 for the white. And then this is 12 by 4. So you'll get 3 card bases. And then you come in and you score it at 4 inches and 8 inches, or you score 4 inches, you turn it and score it again at 4 inches. 4 inches and 8 inches. And then you go in and at a diagonal, you score that from top to bottom. And then on this second panel here, you do the same thing. So let's just go ahead and burnish all of the score lines. And then we can manipulate it, if you will, once we've got all these score lines nice and burnished. It's really a fun fold. I'm not even sure what it's called, but it's, I don't know, maybe you would call it a diagonal fold. I don't know. Let's see, did I do that right? Yep. Well, this one opens just slightly different, but that's okay. It's still the same idea, right? Because I think this one was folded from the top right to the bottom, and I did this one top left to the bottom. But again, it's a fun fold, and it's really neat when you open it. Now, the Heartfelt Prayers is, again, coming from one of my favorite suites that we got to purchase early, and you'll get to purchase these as a customer in September. Heartfelt Prayers. This one's great. It's got the doves, and it's got other things besides Christmas, right? Big hugs for my friend. We all have those friends who might live far away, and could send them a hug by sending them a card in the mail. Pardon me. All right, so let's go ahead and do our stamping. We're going to use Cherry Cobbler. There's that little poinsettia. I'm going to open that up. We're going to stamp a poinsettia at the bottom. And I'm going to do one on the inside as well. Now, while we have that one open, Heartfelt Prayers. Let that ink soak in. Beautiful card. Yeah, I don't know if this is like a diagonal fold card, fun fold. I don't know. I just think it's a lot of fun. And then I'm just going to use a little bit because this is the Stampin' Seal Plus. So this is not as forgiving as the liquid glue. So just be careful when you use it. Be sure where it's going. And then this one, just want to give it a little bit of adhesive. I ordered tax-free weekend, and I saw that it has shipped, so it should be coming next week sometime. Now, like all fun folds, we're going to want just adhesive on this piece here, okay? And then it's going to cover it up like this. And then I'm going to try something because I don't know, and I want your opinion. So tell me what you think. Again, let's just give it a couple of... Don't need a whole lot of adhesive because that one's really, really strong. What a fun fold that is. Now I'm thinking, let's just try something. I don't know. This amazing ribbon, shaded spruce. Look at that. It's gold. Oh, it's just the prettiest. I think that's going to be super hot too. There's a lot in that catalog. It's going to be super hot. So you guys are warned ahead of time. It's going to be an amazing catalog. And I don't know. Let's just see what this looks like, because I don't know. And I always keep the ribbon on the spool. I don't know why. It's just something I started doing. I don't know if that's too much, but I just kind of like the ribbon. I think there's samples where they use it for, let's see. They use it for wrapping paper, wrapping packages, and fun things like that. All right, let's do this again. I kind of like it. Let's see. I want it to be on the side here. We're going to trim it in just a minute. All right. It does fray, so just be aware. And you can always trim that down. I kind of like it. I really do. That's pretty. And it's one of those surprise fun folds. They undo the beautiful ribbon and voila. You've got this beautiful card. Now, I didn't do any of the fussy cutting, but you could definitely do that. There's plenty of beautiful paper that you can use. And that, like I said, it's a fun pop out, or not pop out, but it's a fun diagonal fold, I guess I'll call it. Fun diagonal fold. I had never seen it prior to this week. Earlier this week when I was playing, I saw it and I thought, I want to try that. And so next, let's play with this one, which was part of the online samples. It's part of this suite. Oh, I didn't put anything on the inside. Again, with this stamp bundle suite of product, you can mix and match your greetings. And I thought, okay, let's do Merry Wishes with Christmas on the inside. And let me show you how I did that, how I lined it up. Now this one has lots of pieces, and I think I lost one of them earlier, but I've got some spare here on the desk, thankfully. We're going to use our blending brush too. So basically what I did when I got the stamps out and decided to come up with my own, well, the greeting, I think it's a little different than the online, but I just lined up the photopolymer stamp Merry at the top of this die and the wishes at the bottom of this die so that I could stamp it and then it would be in the correct place. Now, once I put my stamps, those two there, then I got the block and picked up those two just like that. So that's how I did that. You can interchange them out as much as you want. I was playing around and I did this one, Sending Christmas Cheer, did the same thing. And again, these are the labels dies, which are really fun. There's a bunch of them, and you could probably use these just like I have the Peace on Earth dies. I used these a lot with other projects besides Christmas the past few weeks. I'm sure these are going to be super hot. Like I said, it's amazing. So let's go ahead and let me show you what I did. And I'm using, since we're doing a lot and it's kind of busy, I call it, I used thick white cardstock. Definitely use my bone folder and burnish that score line there. 11 inches by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 5 1/2. Basic A2 card base. And we're going to stamp the front of the card base first. Let me make some room here because I want to make sure this is folded out. And we're just going to stamp 1, 2, 3. And it's kind of hard to explain, but again, we've got this beautiful stamp. And Pool Party is one of the coordinating colors. And again, this is a big stamp. So I'm going to bring the ink pad to the stamp. And probably too much ink, but it is a nice light pool color, Pool Party color. It's definitely got some blue hues to it. Okay. And we're going to stamp this up toward the top. Stamped it once. And we're going to ink it up again. We're going to stamp it a second time. Right here. And it's going to look kind of messy in the middle, but that's okay. We got one more. We're basically going to do this 3 times. Now, if you weren't going to have stuff in the middle, yeah, maybe not do it exactly like this. And 3. Just like that. Kind of messy, but again, we're going to cover that up. And then we've got this piece of beautiful designer series paper. And it is 4 by 1 1/4. And it's going to go flat, just like that. And just put a little bit of adhesive right there. I hate to cover up this beautiful color, but this is what it shows from the online sample. And then let's see, the other stamping, we probably should do all of our stamping first. I think I mentioned that before. We've got this piece that we've die cut out ahead of time. And my bow, I die cut that one and I put the bow together ahead of time, just save a little bit of time. So this one we're going to stamp. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Here it is. All right, and I don't remember, so let's clean that one. Like I said, when I play, I use different colors. Let me just clean this one just to make sure. Because I think at one point I was using Old Olive and I was also using the shaded Spruce. But I know for this one it's Old Olive. Old Olive for the Christmas stamp. But for this one, we've got this little leafy, and we're going to just stamp right on top of that die cut. I have never done that before, and I saw the sample online and I thought that was really cool. Why didn't I think of that? I just love it. Okay, so we've got that. And then we have the Christmas, but I think I want to do that Merry Wishes first, okay? So we're going to get our Secret C, which is another coordinating color. In color, which all of these in colors are on sale. So if you're wanting to get your inks and paper, there's a sale going on. Merry Wishes. Just like that. Beautiful. It could be Happy Wishes. It could be sending Merry Wishes. I mean, you know, you can just change that up however you want. I see that this is still a little pink. Let me clean it because we're going to use the Old Olive for the Christmas. And I have the Christmas and the Merry all to themselves. It might just be stained. You can always turn it over and double check. Yep, it's clean. All right, so now we're going to do the Christmas, Merry Christmas Wishes. And this one's going to be in Old Olive. My puppy dog is alert, and it looks like he is about to start barking, so I apologize in advance. Okay. And then this one, I kind of want to angle it a little bit. So you have control when you have the, you know, what direction, like you want it to be perfectly straight or you want it off centered a little bit, which I did. It just gives it a little character, I think. But this is a fun set that you can do all kinds of things with. All right, so now that we've got everything stamped, we're going to assemble. I should probably show you the die cut or the dies. So these are the dies that came with it, and I went ahead of time and did some die cutting, save a little time. This one has 3 pieces to it. This one's all one piece, this was all one piece, and then you get 2 of these. This one will die cut out 3 of the little holly berries, which is what we're going to have on there. It's super cute. All right. Let's see, this one we're going to put on dimensionals, which I have right over here. I think I used up all from the last time. And we're not going to put that on just yet. We're just going to use it as a guide. So we'll kind of know approximately where it's going to go. The first thing we want to adhere down is going to be the gold, like the pine, right? And again, I'm just going to give it a couple of little bits of adhesive. And you have to be very careful when you're using these really intricate die pieces. Now it's going to have a little bit down here and a little bit up there. And then this one's going to go next. You could use flat adhesive dots. And I was going to use regular Stampin' Sale, but like I said, I made use of that tax-free weekend, which is usually when I stock up and get more adhesive. So I've been using this one and I like it a lot. Just a little bit is all you need. And I've been using quite a bit lately. All right, so next, that's those two pieces. Then next, we're gonna do a shiny holly leaf, I guess it would be called, which would normally be the greenery, but it shows this really cool shiny. And then we've got our Secrets Sea color right on top. And we're going to do the same thing for down here toward the bottom. Super cute. Any minute he's going to start barking. All right. And we're going to put this one down there. And again, Secret Sea, just a little bit of adhesive. Liquid glue works great, but a little bit goes a long way, and you have to be real, real careful. All right, oops, see how it started to come off? The color from the paper. All right. Now we're gonna put the label on there. Yep, it started to tear the paper. You gotta be real careful. And then this one's just gonna kind of center in the middle here. And then the next thing we're gonna use, actually we are gonna use these little bitty adhesive dots, or adhesive, flat adhesives for the little circle. And we're gonna use 3. Here's the first one. So this one is Cherry Cobbler. Take those little pieces off, little stickies. And then I had some extras up here because I don't know what I did with them. And then we've got one more Cherry Cobbler. We're gonna put it in the bottom. And then this one is Real Red. And then last, we're gonna add this cute little ribbon, just like right there. And we're gonna use the flat adhesive dot as well. Oop, there we go. Isn't that cute? It seems like a busy card, but it's so fun to come up with these ideas. And this was, like I said, a sample that they showed online for the demonstrators, just to kind of give you an idea of using the entire suite. This is using the designer paper, excuse me, it's using all of the die cuts basically, and several of the words, the background, almost using the entire suite. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I have so many ideas for this suite of product. and interchange it out with some of the other beautiful projects. Now for the last but not least, Pop Out Fun Fold. I'm very excited to share this one. This is, like I mentioned, it's a new to me fold that I just discovered, I think last Friday or Saturday evening. I was going through the different folds that are out there, and oops, sorry about that. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to shut the door. Otherwise, he's going to come back in and bark. So you want to take a screenshot? You can. Let me just shut this door real quick. He's a good watchdog puppy. All right. So the designer paper, this one is the pop-up mechanism for the inside, and it is 6 by 6. And then we've got the designer paper for the outside, and this one is 4 by 1, or excuse me, this one's 4 by 1, and this one's 4 by 3 7/8. Then we have 2 pieces of white, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then I realized I didn't write this one down, but it is 3 3/4 by 2 1/2. Okay. I should have written that one down, but in my excitement, and we're using this ribbon that's part of the suite. It's absolutely gorgeous. That barely fit. And I have a template too that I definitely need to share with you before we get going on this one. I say that and I don't know what I did with it. And I don't know about you, but for me, the templates really, really help explain or show you. What did I do with that one? It was just here. Is it behind everything? Oh, well, I'll just show you the card sample, right? So I think I did a preview too. I've shared already a preview of this one. It's that bookbinding fold, but when you open it, it's like an origami magic card. And this is very easy to make. And of course, it's using my favorite embellishments. Oh my. Yes, it's a busy card, but it's a fun busy card. And I did fussy cut that one out. Then this one, we're going to use our blends and the old olive. We're going to make that fun pop up. And you have just a little bit of room to write. So maybe there's somebody that you want to impress with your crafting skills. This would definitely be the card for them. You know, there's room for sentiment. You could totally leave this one blank as well if you needed more room to write a sentiment. Sometimes you just want to sign your name. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, thinking of you. Says it all right here. Oh, that's gorgeous. Okay. Let me show you how you make this fun fold card. I really thought I had that here. I think I still do. Okay. This is what I mean by the sample. This is the sample I made, and I want to show you the sample. I have it clipped and clipped again. Basically, this 6 by 6, it's scored at 3 inches from left to right, and then 3 inches up and down, and then at a diagonal. And so the magic is when you open it, right? So you only want a diagonal one direction. And then it folds in like this. And you want to make sure when you do this, when you go to put it together, it fits exactly each corner, or kind of like at a rectangle, the point at the top and the bottom. And then we're going to glue this part. So again, when you go to open it, it's going to be this wow factor, right? That's my template. I love those. I can utilize them in any project in the future by having that available. Again, let's do our stamping first. Okay. I'm going to stamp this one. And these two, this is actually a very easy fold. And I did the fussy cutting ahead of time. And there's those pieces there. We're going to do Merry Wishes again. And I didn't realize I did both of these twice when I probably could have done Sending Christmas Wishes. Well, maybe that's what we should do for this one. Make it different. Make it like this one. Sending. So let's see. I think, okay, yep. I don't think, here it is. So Sending Christmas Cheer. Let's do that on here. But we're going to clean it because we want to do the same ink. Because I think this one I used Real Red and then I used Shaded Spruce. Let's clean these real quickly because I'm going to change my own sample up. And this is my own design. This is a brand new product that demonstrators were able to order. I've not seen samples yet of this one, so I'm very excited to maybe be one of the first to share that with you. This was kind of my idea when I saw the pop-out mechanism. I just had to do that. Okay, that's Merry Wishes. We've done that one, so I'm going to put that up. I want to do Sending Cheer. Christmas Cheer. Okay. So now they're clean. And that's such a pretty one too. I love that. Okay. So we've got the Secret C Merry Wishes. Well, Sending Cheer, because remember we're going to change it up. All right. Open that up. Sending Cheer. Ooh. You know what? That's not, I set it up for that stamp. So let me clean this and we'll set it up. And I'll just show you how you can set it up. That's probably the best anyway, just so I can show you. Instead of telling you how to set it up, I can show you. Because again, this stamp set, bundle, suite, whatever you want to call it, is absolutely versatile. I'm going to take these off. Basically, to set it up, you're going to put your stamp right where you want it. Sending. And then Cheer. Because we want Cheer on the bottom, right? And then we're going to get our block and pick it up. That's how you set it up. For whatever die you're using, this is perfect. Sending Cheer. And you just push down, let that ink soak in. Voila. This is so fun. Love, love crafting. Coming up with fun designs. Let's do Real Red for Christmas. And we want to do a little angle again, because why not? Sending Christmas Cheer. So pretty. It's very versatile. And I guess we're doing Merry and Bright, which is Merry is all by itself. And it is on this desk somewhere. Oh, here we go. Let's look at that one more time. Merry. And then the word and bright is in red. And Secret C for the Merry. All right, so we're going to do Merry first. Get all of our stamping done. Don't you just love the font of all these stamps? And then before you stamp, it's going to be kind of at an angle. Just keep that in mind. I guess I could have done it this way, but you know, it will probably look much better like that. And Bright. Merry, Sending Christmas Cheer. Merry and Bright. You could say sending love and joy. Wishing you cheer, wishes, 'tis the season. So many options. Merry and bright. And that's going to be in red. This is a very versatile set. And then I don't know if you can tell, but this was, this fun fold is my design for this product. This idea behind it, this was a different paper, but in the catalog, there's one very similar to this. And so I sort of, for the front design, copied the catalog, but I changed it up a tiny little bit because I wanted to do a pop-out surprise. Now we're going to get our, I keep moving all the inks out of the way, but we're going to use Old Olive. Let me just show you something real quick. I'm going to get our blending brush, and we're going to add some, we're going to darken it up just a little bit with the ink. So it's like color on color, Old Olive. Okay, on that one. And on the second one. Just like that. And it just, you know, all the leaves can be different. Just gives it a little something extra there. So now that we've got everything stamped, we can get our card base and start putting it together. Now, normally I would adhere down this piece here, right? But I decided this time, because of the way this opens, I don't necessarily need to do that. And it gives it a little extra, I don't even know what the word is, so that you can open it. All right, so the 4x1 piece of designer paper. And again, I cut it like this. So it's going to go on just like that. So I want to make sure, line that up. This is a 4x1 piece. It's going to go on this corner. Just a little bit of adhesive. And this one's going to be right next to it. I'm going to add a couple here and there. Really strong adhesive, so make sure you have it exactly where you want it. And then this piece is from that gorgeous designer paper. The one in the catalog shows a different one, but I like this one. And it's 3 3/4 by 2.5. And this one's just going to go flat. Just like that. Okay, and then the next thing is this beautiful ribbon that's part of the suite. It's a shiny, shimmery red. And it is approximately 9.5 inches. I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue right there. And then it's just basically going to come back like that. You just want to make sure you put some glue so that it'll hold it down. Okay. Next, I'm going to put these two pieces. Build our card. the second one. Let's see here. All right, and so this one, I'm gonna have it flat right on top. Kind of centered like so. And then, of course, I already die cut, or not die cut, excuse me, I fussy cut the little piece that's going to go on top just like that. And I'm going to put it on a dimensional. Right there. Isn't that pretty? And so we're going to use, excuse me, let me get a drink real quick. Chitty chatty, and I'm getting all dry throat. Okay, the Real Pretty Tiny Shimmer. We're going to put one right there. And we're going to put a couple over here. My husband said this was a very busy card, and I'm like, good, I love busy cards. I love how pretty it is, because I just love all the shine. It's really, really pretty. I say white, maybe it is the gold. It looks clear, but it's gold. Gold. Okay. And a couple, whoops, didn't quite get that one. And so I'm not sure yet, but our next workshop is on the 23rd. And I will be designing our beautiful cards. And I'm really thinking I might use this suite of product because this is gorgeous. All right. Now we're ready for the pop-up. Let me show you. Super, super easy, y'all. Hope you're ready. Oh, it's going to go off to the side. And that's what it looks like. So basically it's 6 by 6, and I put it in the trimmer. And at 3 inches, I scored. Then I turned it and I put it at 3 inches and I scored it again. So it's up and down, left and right. And then only one side I put in at an angle, top to bottom angle, right? And scored down. That's how easy that is. At 3 inches, left and right. Turn it again at 3 inches and score it. And then you score it at the diagonal. And then you go back. And it's designer series paper, so you have to be real careful. Because you definitely want it to score, but you don't want it to be scored too much or it could rip the paper, right? And it's going to go in. At an angle. So you're basically going to like origami it, I guess. I don't know how else you would say it other than you're going to origami it. And that's why I have the other sample, because I sort of forget how it needs to go. It truly is easy. I don't know. Trust me, it is easy. Okay, we've got the 2 sides are going to come in. It's like they're going to meet in the middle. I'm not able to see your comments. I can imagine what you're saying. Yes, it's very easy. Just make sure all the score lines are good and scored. All right. They're meeting in the middle. That's the important thing. Make sure that you've got everything scored very well, because you'll meet a little bit of resistance, as you just saw, which is why it's important that you burnish all the score lines, right? So now we've got it going the correct way. Okay. It's kind of like a little, I don't know what you call that, fun little origami flap, right? But you saw there was a little resistance. You just want to make sure you've got all those score lines burnished very well, okay? Just like that. All right, so this one is going to go down here. Just like that. And then just when you're going to do the diagonal score, just make sure you're not covering up the Real Pretty Flower. Because I think I did on the original one. It kind of, it did that, but that's okay. And then this one's going to go right there. Merry and Bright. All right, like that. And we did put 3 of those really pretty red embellishments. Let's see, we got the big red one right there. And we've got 2 smaller ones. One there. One right there. You know I've got to have all that bling. All right. So once we adhere it and it opens, there's our fun surprise. So here is our card base. Before we adhere anything, we just want to double check. It's going to open like that. All right. We just want to make sure all these corners, that everything is going to fit on the inside of the card. Check it one more time. Yep, that's the direction we want it. Now we're going to add a little bit of adhesive in all the right places. And then we're going to close the top. Next, we're going to add our adhesive. And there it is. Voila, pop-up fold. So the thing to remember is make sure that all the score lines, forwards, backwards, have all, because you'll meet with the resistance like I did, okay? So just remember that. Super, super fun. And it is easy, Even though for a couple of minutes it seemed like it wasn't going to do it. It's a trick of origami, basically. It's really fun. Super fun. Now, the only other thing I want to do is make sure I've trimmed the ribbon. Because you want to make sure before you mail it, it's going to all fit inside the envelope, like that. Isn't that fun? I just love fun folds. I don't know about you, but I really, really love fun folds. And then this fun, simplistic design that they showed online. Wanted to showcase that. And then this really cool fold, which is very similar, right? Another fun one. And then the second one that I made with that one, I added this gorgeous ribbon. This is just the tip of the iceberg with all of this suite of product. It's gorgeous. So let me know if you want to join us on the 23rd, our next workshop. I have once a month, I host a workshop in my home. And if you're local and you want to give it a try, maybe you just want to do one card. Just kind of come stamp, check it out. It'll be a lot of fun to have you join us. So yeah, let me know and we'll set you up, and hopefully we'll see all of you on the 23rd. And next week, who knows? I've been playing with this suite so much, I might have some more fun. And I do have a couple of other new fun folds that I haven't tried yet. And with this beautiful paper, oh, it's going to be fun. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy stamping.